The Water Margin, Chapter 22.
Okay, so let's dive into that chaos. It all starts at the county court. A crime has been committed.
And the victim's mother, Yan Po, storms in to make a formal accusation. Her daughter, Yan Po Shi, is dead.
And she points the finger directly at Song Jiang. She says he killed her after a night of drinking.
But she also, in her grief, or maybe as a tactic, she also names this other guy, Tang Nuer.
Tang Nuer. And who is he?
Basically a nobody. A local guy she claims was finding trouble the night before, and, crucially, helped Song Jiang escape the next morning. He's almost like an afterthought in her accusation.
So the complaint is filed. What's the magistrate's first move?
Well, his first move is to completely short-circuit the entire process. He hasn't seen any evidence, hasn't talked to any witnesses.
Nothing.
Nothing. And he just states, flat out, that Song Jiang is a gentleman, an honest person. He says he would never do something like this. It's not just giving him the benefit of the doubt, it's an immediate verdict.
A verdict based entirely on social status. He's basically treating the mother like she's the one on trial.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The whole focus shifts instantly. Forget the powerful Clark song. Let's look at this convenient scapegoat, Tang Nuer.
But the cover-up hits a snag almost immediately. Someone else gets involved.
Yes. Another clerk, Zhang Wenyuan. And he is the,
Lover.
let's call him the unexpected spanner in the works.
So why does he step up? I mean, he's going against his own boss, the magistrate, and a fellow clerk. That's a huge risk.
It is, but he has a personal stake. The text says he has a connection to the victim, Yan Po Shi. It calls her his biaozi, which could mean an intimate.
Lover.
Whatever it is, he's invested.
He has skin in the game.
He does. And he uses his knowledge of the system. He's the one who makes sure the mother's complaint is filed formally as an official document.
Ah, so he creates a paper trail.
He creates a paper trail. He forces the case onto the books, which means the magistrate can't just dismiss it. The wheels of justice, however rusty and corrupt, have to start turning.
And once those wheels are turning, they have to follow procedure. The first step is, what? A site inspection.
A mandatory site inspection, a Jiang.
Hmm.
And the facts they find are pretty damning.
What do they find?
The cause of death is clear. She was cut or strangled at the neck. But the smoking gun, well, in this case, the bloody knife, is lying right there next to the body.
And it's not just any knife.
No. It's Song Jiang's personal clothes-dressing knife. It's his. Unmistakably.
Wow. So you've got a body, a murder weapon, and the weapon belongs to the prime suspect. How on earth can the magistrate keep defending him now?
Well, that's where the strategy shifts.
Yeah.
It's no longer about denying the crime. It's about obstructing the process. The text literally says he is intent on delivering him, which means he's actively trying to engineer his escape.
Okay, so with this undeniable physical evidence, the obstruction has to get a lot more creative.
And a lot more brutal. The strategy is simple and it's cynical. Frame the innocent guy to save the powerful one.
He goes all in on Tang Nu.
All in. He just interrogates him over and over, completely ignoring the fact that Song Jiang's knife is sitting in evidence.
And what's Tang Nu's defense?
It's pretty weak, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
He just says he was out looking for a bowl of wine. He has no idea what happened. He's just a guy who was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
And the text makes it clear the magistrate knows this.
Oh, absolutely. The source is brutally clear. It says the magistrate knew he did not know the facts. He is fully aware that Tang Nuer is innocent.
And yet
he orders him tortured, beaten 30 to 50 times. Then he's thrown in jail, shackled with a heavy wooden yoke.
wow. This isn't a miscarriage of justice. This is the weaponization of justice.
It's the system being used as a shield for the elite and a hammer for the poor. It's a deliberate, cynical act of violence to create a smokescreen.
But even that isn't enough to make the case go away because Zhang Wenyuan is still there.
Still there, still pushing. He sees the magistrate stalling, and he keeps forcing the next procedural step. He argues, look, you have the knife, and the suspect, Song Jiang, has already fled.
He's on the run.
He's on the run, which means legally you must issue an arrest warrant. There's no way around it.
I have to ask, though, why can't the magistrate just say no? I mean, he's the boss. Why does he have to listen to this clerk?
It's the power of oversight. The magistrate is the top dog in the county, sure. But there's always a higher court, the presidential court. And a clerk like Zhang Wenyuan knows exactly what paperwork needs to be filed to trigger a review.
So if the magistrate obstructs too openly,
Zhang Wenyuan can document it. And the magistrate's career is on the line. The knife is irrefutable evidence. Zhang Wenyuan is basically using the bureaucracy against his boss.
okay, so the warrant is unavoidable. But Zhang Wenyuan doesn't stop there. He escalates things.
He really does. He pushes for the next logical and much more severe step. If you can't find the suspect, you arrest his family.
A classic pressure tactic.
A very common one. He demands they go arrest Song Jiang's father, Song Taigong, and his brother, Song King, at the family village. The idea is to force Song Jiang to turn himself in to save them.
And the magistrate, he has to agree.
He's backed into a corner. He can't block it any longer, so he reluctantly issues the papers. It really looks like the game is up for Song Jiang. His family is about to pay the price.
But this is where the story takes another incredible turn. This is where the real legal genius comes into play.
Absolutely. So the constables head out to the family estate, and, the text notes they're actually friends of Song Jiang, so they're not exactly thrilled about this.
They're reluctant.
Very. And when they get there, Song Jiang's father, Song Taigong, reveals this incredible, pre-planned legal escape hatch.
This is the critical twist. What did he do?
Years before any of this happened, Song Taigong had gone to the court and formally accused his own son, Song Jiang, of being unfilial.
Unfilial. That's a serious charge, right?
It's a massive deal. It's a social and a legal crime. And based on that official complaint, he had Song Jiang legally disowned, struck from the family register.
Wait, so this wasn't just him saying, "You're no son of mine." This was an official, state-recognized act.
Precisely. It's a formal legal severance of all family ties. You have to wonder about the foresight here. Why would a father do that to his son?
It sounds like a contingency plan, a firewall.
It's exactly that. By legally disowning him, he made it so the family, the father, the brother, could not be held responsible for any of Song Jiang's future crimes. He firewalled his entire lineage from the law that Zhang Wenyun was now trying to use against them.
That is next-level strategic thinking, and he has proof, I assume.
Oh, he has the paperwork. He pulls out the official stamped document from the previous magistrate, the Gongwen.
The ultimate receipt.
The ultimate receipt. And it states, in the clearest legal terms, that he and his son have no connection, not even rice and water. They are legal strangers.
Which means the constables have no legal grounds to arrest him or his other son.
None whatsoever. They can't touch them. So they just copy the papers and head back to the office.
The magistrate must have been overjoyed. This is the perfect excuse he was looking for.
He grabs onto it immediately. He rules that since Song Jiang has no legal relatives to arrest, they'll just have to try something else. They'll post a huge reward for his capture.
How huge are we talking?
1,000 guan, which is a massive, life-changing sum of money for a common person back then.
So what does that signal? Is he actually trying to catch him?
Not really. It signals two things. First, the crime is too high profile to just drop. He has to look like he's doing something serious. But second, it's also a way to broadcast to the entire region that Song Jiang is a wanted man, giving him a heads up to stay deep in hiding.
But even this isn't the end of it. The victim's mother, Yan Po, she's not giving up.
No. And she's still got Zhang Wenyuan in her corner. She marches back into court, calls the disowning document a fake, and then she plays her final card.
Which is?
She threatens to appeal.
Yeah.
To take the case to the higher provincial court, she calls the murder a crime as great as heaven and says she will get justice from a higher authority.
And that is the one threat the magistrate can't ignore.
It's the kill shot. Zhang Wenyuan warns him this is dangerous. If a higher official comes to review this case, your bias, the torture of an innocent man, all of it comes out.
His career is over.
It's over. His desire to protect his friend is finally outweighed by his instinct for self-preservation.
So his hand is forced, not by a search for truth, but by the threat of a bureaucratic audit.
Exactly. The legal dance is over. He finally gives the order. He tells two of his chief constables, Zhu Tong and Lei Hang, to lead the official search party and bring Song Jiang in.
The sources call this a matter involving human life.
And as the poem in the text hints, this is just the start of his lifetime of troubles caused by a courtesan. We're going to see how, deeply embedded corruption allowed a fugitive to basically use the law as his own personal shield.
And there are three key players we need to watch here. Song Jiang himself, of course, his father, Song Taigong, and the two officers sent to arrest him, Zhu Tong and Lei Hang.
Right. And it's crucial to remember that the judicial system they're all operating in is, well, it's fundamentally broken.
It is. And that failing system is exactly what Song Jiang is banking on to save him.
Okay, so let's set the scene. The arrival is meant to be intimidating, right? Zhu Tong and Lei Hang, They show up at the Song family village with a huge force.
Over 40 soldiers. They're ready to arrest a murderer.
But the whole thing just stops dead in its tracks when they meet Song Jiang's father.
And that's where the legal brilliance just shines. Song Taigong doesn't panic. He doesn't, try to lie and say his son is innocent.
No.
Instead, he meets them with proof. He pulls out this physical, official legal document, a writ, a Zliping Gangwen.
A writ. So, why is one piece of paper enough to stop a whole arrest warrant?
Because of what that paper proved. Years ago, Song Taigong had legally disowned Song Jiang.
Disowned him.
Formally, through a process called Gehu Lingji, which it means separating their household registration. So Taigong could genuinely and legally state that he and Song Jiang no longer lived together. They were separate entities and had been for over 3 years.
So this wasn't just like a family spat. This was a calculated, bureaucratic move.
Exactly.
Why would a father do that? I mean, unless he knew his son's life was going to be dangerous.
It's an insurance policy, pure and simple. In the Song dynasty, if your son committed a major crime, the state could seize everything. The family's land, their assets.
Everything.
Everything. So by doing this, Song Taigong basically built a legal wall around the family estate. It's a move that says, you can have my son, but you can't touch my property or my other kids. It's incredibly pragmatic.
And cynical. Okay, so they have the writ. It proves the family isn't collaborating. Why do the officers still insist on a search? Why not just pack up and leave?
They have to. It's performative duty. Zhu Tong even says, we're ordered by our superiors. It can't be helped. They need a paper trail to show they did their jobs.
Right.
So Lei Heng does the first quick search. He walks through, confirms he's truly not in the house. At that point, the mission is, technically over.
That Zhu Tong doesn't let it go. He pushes. And this is where the real deception starts.
This is the pivot. He insists on doing a second detailed search himself. He claims he feels unsettled.
That's his excuse.
It's the perfect cover. And crucially, he tells Lei Heng, you guard the gate. You watch the old man. He gets Lei Heng and all the soldiers out of the way so he can act alone inside.
Okay, and this is where it gets really interesting. We go from legal loopholes to, full-blown fugitive engineering.
Absolutely. Zhu Tong goes into the family's Buddhist hall, the Fotang. He bolts the door, puts his own weapon aside. Very deliberate.
It feels like he's entering a sacred space, but he's really walking into the escape plan.
He is. He goes straight for the centerpiece, the offering table, the gonchuang where the Buddha statues sit. He drags this huge, heavy thing away, and it reveals a loose floorboard.
A loose floorboard. But it's the warning system that gets me. What happens when he pulls that rope handle under the board?
Ding! A hidden brass bell rings. Just once.
Wow.
Think about that. This isn't just a hole in the ground. It's an alarm system. It's designed for instant signaled communication. It's a sophisticated bunker audiency. And only after that bell rings does Song Jiang pop out.
He didn't just build a hideout. He built an emergency response system right under the family altar.
He did.
I have to stop on that. This sounds like something out of a spy movie. Song Jiang is a clerk, and he has this bell alarm panic room. How on earth did Zhu Tong know the exact mechanics of it?
He told him. Simple as that. Song Jiang had confided in him, during wine one day. He laid out the whole plan, the cellar, the floorboard, the offering table, covering it all.
So this goes way beyond a professional relationship.
Yeah.
That's a level of trust that, wow, it completely supersedes his duty as an officer.
It does, but it's also a huge risk for Zhu Tong. He's actively obstructing a murder investigation.
He's risking his career, maybe his life.
Yeah.
Why? Is it just friendship?
It's a mix. It's friendship, yeah, but it's also political calculation. Zhu Tong tells him that the local magistrate actually sympathizes with Song Jiang and wishes the whole thing would go away.
So his boss is on his side.
Secretly, yes. But they can't just drop it because the victim's family and the mother-in-law, they're making a scene. They're threatening to appeal the case to the prefecture, the next level up.
Ah, so once it goes to the prefecture, the local guys lose all control.
Exactly. Their hand is being forced by these two private citizens. And that's why Zhu Tong had to trick his partner, Lei Heng.
Why? What's wrong with Lei Heng?
Nothing's wrong with him. He's just too rigid. Zizi is the word they use. He's an honest, by-the-book cop. If he'd found Song Jiang, he would have arrested him on the spot. No questions asked.
And that would have escalated everything.
It would have blown up. Zhu Tong needed to handle this diplomatically, find the roundabout solution. And he knew Lei Heng just wasn't that guy.
So Lei Heng's honesty is actually a liability in this corrupt system.
Precisely.
Okay, so Song Jiang is out of the bunker. He needs to disappear. And he has options.
3 of them, all pre-planned. It shows you the depth of his network. He can go to Chaijin, the little whirlwind, or to Huarong, the little Liguang, or to the Kong family at White Tiger Mountain.
This outlaw network is already in place, ready to go.
Instantly. And Zutong tells him, go tonight. And this part is key. He refuses Song Jiang's offer of silver and silk. This isn't a bribe. It's a genuine act of brotherhood.
It's loyalty, not a transaction.
Exactly. He's putting his own neck on the line for that bond.
Okay, so now for the final act.
Yeah.
Cover-up. Zutong has to go back outside and explain why his detailed search turned up nothing. And he plays Lei Hang like a fiddle.
It is a masterclass in psychology. He comes out, confirms Song Jiang is gone, but then instead of saying, let's go, he suggests something outrageous.
What's that?
He says they should arrest Song Taigong, the sick old father, even though they have the writ that makes it illegal.
Why would he do that? It's a terrible idea.
It's classic reverse psychology, fan shuo, or reverse talk. Lei Hang, who's been waiting outside, wants to be seen as the reasonable, humane one.
Of course.
So when he hears this needlessly cruel suggestion, he immediately jumps in to play the good person.
Yeah.
He's the one who says, no, we have the writ, the old man is sick, let's just leave him be.
I get it. By suggesting the worst possible option, he gets Lei Hang to argue for the exact outcome he wanted all along.
Exactly. And Lei Hang gets to feel like he's the benevolent one who saved the day. It's brilliant.
It really is. So they refuse the silver for themselves to keep up that look of professional honor.
Right. But they make sure the 40 soldiers get paid off. They distribute the money among the men, which guarantees 40 silent witnesses. They copy the writ, head back, and file their report.
But they can't just let a murder case completely disappear. How do they neutralize the actual complaint?
It's a two-pronged attack. First, Song Jiang's friends go and talk to Zhang San, and because Song Jiang had a history of doing favors for people, using his position to help them.
He had built up some goodwill.
A lot of goodwill. Zhang San relents. He agrees to drop it locally.
But the mother-in-law is still the problem. She's the one threatening to go to the prefecture.
And that's where money solves everything. Zutong personally pulls together a significant sum and pays her off to keep her quiet, for good.
Wow.
He also bribes officials at the prefecture to make sure the case file gets buried and never looked at again. It's systemic corruption being used as a shield.
The local bureaucracy is working perfectly, just not towards justice. It's all about self-preservation.
It is, but they still need to create the illusion of justice. They need a final verdict. They need a scapegoat.
And who takes the fall for this whole elaborate scheme?
They pin the crime of deliberately setting a killer free on a Tang Noor. He gets 20 strokes and is banished, 500 lives.
So a minor character gets ruined.
Well, a massive reward is issued for Song Jiang, making it look like they tried their best. And all the officials involved, Zutong, Lei Hang, the magistrate, they're all completely cleared. The system just sacrifices a nobody to cleanse itself.
That is just incredible. Let's shift to the bigger context here, because the text itself asks this question. Why would a respected clerk from a farming family need a high-tech, well-equipped bunker in the first place?
And this brings us to that famous line in the source text. Being an official was easy. Being a clerk, Yasi, was extremely difficult.
That feels completely backward to me. Why would being a high-ranking official be easy?
Because the top ranks were totally rotten with corruption. The source says it outright. Cunning officials held sway. You got promoted based on who you knew, who you were related to, or, who you bribed.
So if you were in the club, you were protected?
They were shielded. But the clerk, the Yasi like Song Jiang, these were the guys doing the actual work, handling the paperwork, who knew the laws. They had no shield at all. None. They were held to these impossible standards. If a clerk committed a crime, the punishment was swift and brutal, way worse than for a corrupt official. Light punishment was banishment. Severe punishment was execution and seizure of all family property.
So the man who knew the law best was also the most vulnerable person in the entire legal system.
That's why he built the bunker.
That's why he had to have a 5-year plan. The bunker wasn't for this specific crime. It was for the existential risk of just doing his job.
Exactly. The legal disownment, the bunker, these were necessary defenses against the very system he worked for. And the source makes it clear this wasn't unique to him. It was just common practice for clerks who knew how the world really worked.
What a stunning takeaway. Song Jiang's escape was basically the execution of a long-term insurance plan, built on legal knowledge, engineering skill, and waiting for the day he knew would inevitably come. We're talking about the escape of Song Jiang, the timely reign who has just committed a capital offense.
And our sources put us right there in the moments immediately after. He's just emerged from hiding from an earth cellar, and the clock is ticking.
Exactly.
Because the crisis for him isn't just about, running away. It's strategic. He has to secure his family's safety and basically neutralize the political machine that's about to start hunting him.
Right. This is all about the logistics of becoming a legend. You don't just disappear.
Yeah.
You manage the fallout. We're tracking his every move.
Yeah.
The debts he settles, the political bribes he makes, and his choice of sanctuary.
Under one of the most powerful patrons in the land.
Okay, so let's get into it. This calculated farewell. What is the very first thing Song Jiang tells his father to do before he and his brother leave?
It's pure political realism. He knows right away that if it hadn't been for one specific favor, they'd already be in official trouble, as the source puts it.
Meaning an arrest was imminent.
It was. The local constable, Zutong, has already stepped in and starved it. He's put his own neck on the line for the Song family.
So that's a life debt. And it has to be paid, right now, to ensure that loyalty holds.
Instantly. And the currency is gold and silver, but for a very specific purpose. He tells his father to secretly send Zutong a big sum for up and down usage.
Up and down usage, what does that mean?
It's not just a thank you gift, it's the operational budget for corruption. Up and down means bribing officials both above Zutong and below him.
So he's funding the cover-up.
He's funding the entire cover-up, yeah, to make sure the investigation just stalls out and his family's left alone. It shows you how deeply he understands the system he just left.
It's transactional protection. You're literally buying silence and obstruction from the inside. But, okay, that handles the bureaucracy. What about the victim's family? Yanpo's mother could still go to a higher authority, right?
Which is his second move, and it's just as cynical. He tells his father to send, and the text says some little bit, just small sum of money, to Yanpo's mother.
And the reason?
It's stated so clearly to prevent her from complaining to higher authorities. If she appeals up the chain of command, the whole local cover-up becomes useless.
Wow. That is the bureaucrat thinking 5 steps ahead. It's an insurance policy. A small bribe acts as a political gag order. He's not thinking about the morality of the crime. He's thinking about jurisdiction.
He's managing the system using its own corruption against itself. It's brilliant in a way. So once those political fires are put out, the actual physical departure happens, and it's still an emotional scene. The source says the father and sons sprinkled tears incessantly.
It's a gut-wrenching moment. But what always gets me is that they don't just run off into the woods in whatever they were wearing. They're meticulously dressed.
They are. Song Jiang is wearing a white felt hat, a white satin gown, and a plum red sash.
A satin gown. To go on the run.
It's about identity, right? They aren't trying to look like desperate fugitives. They look like travelers, maybe scholars, people of status. In a world of checkpoints and suspicious innkeepers, that image is a form of protection.
And they're armed. A waist knife and that heavy pu dao broadsword for both of them. They are ready for violence.
They're leaving the world of officialdom for the brutal reality of the road. And that reality hits them immediately. The sources paint this really bleak picture of late autumn, early winter.
All withered lotuses and falling leaves.
Exactly. Withered lotus, falling leaves, crickets and rotten grass, heavy frost. The world outside their home is cold and dying. It's not a friendly place.
And they figure out pretty fast. They can't just wander around in the cold. They need a patron. A safe haven. And that's when Song King suggests a name. Chai Jin in Kangzhou.
Chai Jin isn't just some rich guy who helps people out. He has a kind of inherited political power that's almost unique.
This is the real aha moment, isn't it? His status.
It is. Chai Jin is a direct descendant of the Great Zhou Emperor. Now, we're in the Song dynasty, so that was centuries ago. So why on earth does that still matter?
Yeah, why does old royalty still have that much pull?
Because it gives him legitimacy that the current government can't really challenge without a huge political mess. His family line is so respected that local officials they tread very, very lightly around him.
So he uses that untouchable status to build this network of protection.
A network of defiance, really. He's famous for being generous with wealth, but specifically to outlaws and exiles. They call him the Mengcheng of this generation.
A reference to the ancient nobleman who sheltered thousands of retainers, no questions asked.
Exactly. Chai Jin is running a counter-justice system from his manor. He's the perfect sanctuary.
But the journey to get there is still just awful. The white satin doesn't last long, I take it.
Not at all. The sources use these really gritty, memorable phrases. They describe the brothers eating dirty bowls and sleeping in dead men's beds.
Ugh.
Yeah. It's a stark contrast, isn't it? It just shows you how far they've fallen and how fast.
But when they finally get to Kangsu, the power of a name just opens the door for them. A servant says Chai Jin is miles away at the Eastern Manor, but the second Song Jiang says who he is.
Everything changes. The servant has only heard his master praise the name Timely Rain Song Yasi. He drops everything he's doing and personally leads them there.
And this Eastern Manor it's a paradise compared to the road.
Oh, it's magnificent. The source describes a wide harbor, high peaks, thousands of trees, livestock everywhere. It's a fortress of wealth and security. The dining hall alone is said to have surpassed Meng Chang's retainers.
It's not a house, it's a headquarters for hospitality.
And the welcome he gives them just confirms all of it. Chai Jin rushes out, and his reaction is, it's just astonishing. He bows first.
He prostrates himself on the ground.
And says Song Jiang's arrival greatly relieved a lifetime of longing. He's practically worshiping the reputation of timely rain.
This is the descendant of an emperor bowing to a wanted man. It just shows you, in this world, reputation is way more valuable than any official title.
And Chai Jin's promise of protection is it's over the top. He tells Song Jiang to relax his mind, even if he'd committed the 10 cardinal sins.
The worst crimes in the law books.
And then he goes even further. He says it doesn't matter if he'd killed an imperial official or robbed the treasury. He's safe here. This isn't just hospitality, it's a declaration.
A declaration of defiance. He's saying his authority is greater than the emperor's in this place.
It's an assertion of his own power. And then comes the hospitality. A full bath, brand new robes, turbans, silk shoes. They're physically cleansed of the road and symbolically reborn into his network.
The feasting starts, and it goes late into the night. It's this moment of perfect safety, which, of course, is when something has to go wrong.
It always is, isn't it? Song Jiang is, the source says, 8 parts drunk. He gets up, stumbling, to go wash his hands in the dark.
And this is where that outlaw reality just comes crashing back in. In his drunken state, he accidentally kicks the handle of a fire basket,
Spilling hot coals all over a big guy who is sick with malaria and trying to warm himself by the fire.
It's just a stupid, clumsy accident. But it ignites this huge conflict.
Well, the man is suffering from malaria, the intense chills and fevers. He's miserable, vulnerable, and now he's been burned. So he just explodes, grabs Song Jiang by the chest, and starts screaming at him.
And before he even knows who he's grabbed, the guy starts this rant about his own situation.
He does. He says he used to be a guest official, too, but now he feels like he's being slighted. And then he quotes that incredible proverb, "No man has 1,000 days of goodness, no flower stays red for 100 days.
Meaning fortune is fleeting, status is temporary.
Exactly. He's not just mad about being burned. He's mad because he feels like his own reputation has faded. He feels abandoned, and his rage is coming from that place of instability.
Chai Jin comes rushing over to break it up. And he asks the sick man, "Do you recognize this marvelous yasi you're holding?"
And the sick man's answer is just dripping with irony. He scoffs and says, "Marvelous." He can't compare to the song Yasi of Yuncheng.
He praises the legend of Song Jiang while physically attacking the actual Song Jiang.
He goes on about how timely rain Song Ganming is this virtuous, world-famous hero, and how he plans to go seek him out as soon as he's better. He recognizes the idea, but not the drunk guy who just kicked coals on him.
Until Chai Jin finally says it. "This is timely rain Song Gongming."
And the change is instant.
Yeah.
Total. The sick man is shocked. He drops his hands and just collapses to his knees.
Apologizing, saying that famous line, "I had eyes but failed to recognize Mount Tai."
It's the perfect example of reputation being a form of power. I mean, a moment ago, this guy was full of rage, ready for a fight. But the sound of that name just completely overrides everything. It turns his anger into absolute submission and respect.
It's the ultimate proof of Song Jiang's influence. And Song Jiang, ever the politician, asks the man for his name. But the source leaves us on this incredible cliffhanger.
Oh, it's one of the best. Chai Jin is about to reveal the identity of this sick, miserable man, and the author uses this wild hyperbole.
Saying his name will make tigers lose their spirit and the stars and moon lose their luster.
Rivers and mountains will flow backward. The author is signaling to us that this drunken, accidental meeting isn't some minor event. It is a foundational moment for Song Jiang's entire future.